Hi, and welcome to Hoffman's Hot Seat. I'm Tom Hoffman with One-to-One Media, coming to you from the Gartner Customer 360 Summit here in Orlando. And I'm joined today by Udi Ziv, President of Nice Systems Enterprise Group. And today, Udi and I will be talking about different ways that companies can draw upon customers' social sentiment. Udi, thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
So, Udi, a lot of companies are increasing their focus, as you know, on gathering and then trying to act on customers' social sentiment. And I'm wondering, how can companies act on customer intent that's shared in social?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. Obviously, a hot question. When you look at customer intent, you have to look at the broader spectrum, because looking at one aspect of customer intent, you get half a picture or a third of a picture. Therefore, what you actually need to do is look at a broad voice of the customer perspective. That comes from voice, it comes from what you do on the web, and absolutely it comes from what you're doing on social media. And I think what is important for companies to realize that they need to take all the different pieces, including the social part, and aggregate them into a single view, holistic view, which is the voice of the customer view. So that is how social fits within the broader voice of the customer, it's becoming more and more important in terms of a source of a customer intent. But it doesn't stop there, because at the end of the day, you get a nice view of what is the voice of the customer, but the question is, what do you do with that? And I think the real next step is to operationalize voice of the customer, to actually take action from what you've seen on social and on the web and in the contact center, et cetera, as a holistic picture, take action in order to drive the right processes, in order to drive the win-win-win phenomena.
Right. Okay. So, as part of this, there's been some industry observers and even watchdog groups have, issued some concern about gathering and acting on customer sentiment that's shared in social due to potential privacy concerns. And I'm wondering, from your perspective, what are some recommendations that you would offer for companies to try to strike some kind of a balance between acting on customer social sentiment and yet respecting their privacy?
Yeah, I think there are two aspects to this. One is collecting information, and obviously, companies collect a lot of information, whether it's your website behavior or what you're saying, or in the contact center, but also how you're active in the social environment. But collecting information is one thing. I think acting upon it is something that companies need to be very careful with. They need to ask for permission to engage in a dialogue. I mean, it's so natural for companies to go to Twitter and then respond, but that's sometimes is offensive to people. So collect the information, sure, get the voice of the customer holistic view, of course. But now if you want to act upon it, ask for permission. Don't take the extra step without actually getting the customer's approval to engage in a dialogue. And usually they will, because when a person posts on Twitter, they actually want to be engaged. They want the company to react. But do it in a way that is a polite way of doing this.
And that's a good point, because customers are often looking for that interaction to occur with a company. Yeah,
they are, but if you post something half personal on Facebook, and you probably don't want anyone to any company to come in and interact with you, but if you're complaining about something bad service or on Twitter, you probably do. You probably actually have done it to actually share it the world and hope that someone would actually act upon it.
Exactly.
But still, yeah. I would recommend to politely ask to be engaged.
So can you point to examples of any companies that NICE works with that you feel are doing a really effective job of gathering customers' social commentary and then acting on that information?
Yeah, there are quite a few. I'm not going to use names, of course, but there are quite a few in different industries. But I think the important part is that all these companies have realized that social is one aspect. And they've actually started collecting information in other voice of the customer channels. Obviously the contact center, the web, retail stores, and complementing it with social. And we have companies that are doing all the 360 almost, the holistic voice of the customer, complementing it with the social aspect. And the most important part is operationalizing it, taking that input and feeding it into agents and real-time guidance, for example, to know that same customer the agent is on the phone with has actually tweeted about something 20 minutes ago. that's very valuable information.
Sure. Those are great points, because we're seeing a growing number of companies that are, say, blending social customer information with voice of the customer information and other structured and unstructured information, including operational and transactional information about customers, to get that 360-degree view. So Udi, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate this.
My pleasure.